Have you ever asked yourself, what happens to me when anger takes over? How is it that in a single moment, peace can shatter and chaos can reign in my life and heart? What force is this that turns me into someone I barely recognize, lashing out, causing hurt, creating distance? How many relationships have been strained? How much love has been lost simply because anger was allowed to rule? Have you noticed how anger erupts like a wildfire, spreading destruction to everything it touches? Your words, your actions, your very being. How it leaves behind regret, sorrow, and often an irreparable sense of loss. What if, for a moment, you paused and asked, am I the master of this anger, or has it become the master of me? Consider the chaos it creates in your life. The way it draws you into conflict, blinds your clarity, and leaves you disconnected from the people you love. What if beneath this anger there was a deeper force, a shadow pulling the strings, while you, unaware, are caught in its storm? And what if you could step out of this chaos, break free from the grip of anger, and finally reclaim your peace? Dear seekers, let us embark on this journey together, a journey beyond the surface of the mind into the vastness that lies beneath. The conscious mind, which we so often believe to be the whole of our being, is merely the tip of an iceberg. It is like a shimmering lake reflecting the sun, while the depths below hold mysteries beyond our comprehension. To live only within this conscious mind is like standing at the threshold of a grand mansion and never stepping inside. How tragic it is that we spend our lives marveling at the beauty of the entrance hall, convinced that this is the entirety of existence. But, dear seekers, the mansion is vast, and the conscious mind, as essential as it is for functioning in the world, is but the vestibule. It is just the entrance hall. It is where we think, feel, plan, and react, but it is limited. Now, to live only within the conscious mind is to live in a partial reality, a shadowed world. The real treasures, the profound wisdom and freedom lie in the depths beyond. Buddha understood this well. He spoke of the illusion of thinking that what we see and know with the conscious mind is all there is. He spoke of the illusion of thinking that what we see and know with the conscious mind is all there is. He called it Maya, the great deception. We live as if this narrow slice of reality, this one floor of the mansion, is all we have. But, dear seekers, what if we dared to venture beyond the entrance hall? What if we questioned this limitation and began the inward journey to explore the full mansion of our being? Anger, dear seekers, is a doorway. It is one of the most powerful expressions of the unconscious mind. Anger arises like a fire from the depths, and in its flames, we lose ourselves. But have you ever stopped to ask, who is it that becomes angry? Is it truly you, or is it something deeper, something hidden from your conscious awareness? In the life of a Zen master, there was a disciple who struggled with anger. The master, observing his plight, gave him a peculiar task. He said, every time you feel the anger rising, do not suppress it, but also do not let it explode unconsciously. Instead, sit with it, watch it, feel it fully, and then come to me after the storm has passed. The disciple, puzzled, did as the master instructed. Each time anger arose, he would sit, observing it like a witness. Slowly, he began to notice that the anger was not truly his. It was a force passing through him, but it had no roots in his being. Eventually, anger lost its grip on him and he became free. What is this force of anger, dear seekers? It is nothing but an expression of the unconscious mind, a mind that we are largely unaware of. Carl Jung spoke of this when he said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. How many times have you found yourself in the grip of anger, saying things you did not mean, acting in ways you later regretted? And then, when the storm has passed, you are left bewildered, wondering, why did I react that way? This is the unconscious mind at work, shaping your actions, pulling your strings like a puppeteer. Anger is a reflection of your inner turmoil. The unresolved conflicts and repressed emotions stored in the basement of your psyche. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna speaks of Krodh, the anger, as one of the gateways to hell, born of desire and attachment. Yet, Krishna also gives us a way out. He says that by cultivating awareness, by becoming the witness of our actions, we can transcend the grip of these lower forces. The conscious mind is where we engage with the external world, but it is the unconscious that drives our reactions. And this unconscious mind is vast, filled with repressed memories, hidden desires, and unresolved conflicts, much like a basement filled with forgotten things. Sometimes we hear the faint echoes of these forgotten forces in the form of anger, in the form of fear, and in the form of sorrow. But instead of exploring these echoes, we react blindly, allowing them to dictate our lives. Imagine a man who, like many of us, finds himself in the grip of anger, only to feel regret wash over him soon after. This cycle repeats endlessly. He lashes out, loses control, and later, with a calmer mind, feels shame. He wonders why he keeps falling into this pattern. But the truth eludes him, which is that the source of his anger is buried in the unconscious mind, while the regret he feels belongs to the conscious mind. The conscious mind has no direct access to the hidden chambers of the unconscious, where these powerful emotions are born. Regrets, apologies, and reflections may soothe the surface, but they don't reach deep enough to touch the source. So, no matter how much the conscious mind reflects or repents, it is speaking to the wrong person. The root cause remains buried in the unconscious, undisturbed, and ready to erupt again in the form of another bout of anger. The problem isn't solved because the conversation is happening with the wrong part of the self. Until one learns how to dive deep into the unconscious through meditation, self inquiry, and other practices, the real master of the mind, which is the unconscious, continues to rule unchecked. Buddha once asked his disciples, what happens when a man gets angry? They replied, he loses control, he harms others, and he suffers. Buddha smiled and said, anger is like holding a hot coal with the intention of throwing it at someone else. In the end, it is you who gets burned. To act in anger is to be unconscious, to be asleep to the deeper layers of your mind. But here is the key, dear seekers. Anger can also be transformed. It is not inherently bad, it is simply energy, raw and untamed. The Zen masters often say that the way to deal with anger is not to suppress it, but to bring awareness to it. When anger arises, instead of reacting, stop and observe. Watch the sensations in your body, the heat, the tension. Notice how it rises, peaks, and eventually fades. This act of observation creates a space between you and the anger. And in that space, you can begin to see that the anger is not truly you. It is a wave passing through you, but you are the ocean beneath. You may ask, how can I bring awareness to something as powerful as anger? Begin with small steps. In your daily life, practice being conscious in the little things, while walking, eating, or even speaking. As you cultivate this awareness, it will become easier to bring it to the more challenging moments, like when the anger arises. And when you can observe your anger without being swept away by it, you will have taken the first step towards transcending it. Dear seekers, always remember that anger is like a wild horse. If you try to suppress it, it will become more uncontrollable. But if you bring awareness to it, you can tame it and it can become a powerful force for your spiritual evolution. This is the deeper teaching of the Gita, the Upanishads, and the Zen masters, that to bring light to the unconscious, to become the witness of your own mind. And when you do so, you will liberate yourself from the forces that bind you and realize your divine, conscious, infinite nature.